Hi friends, as always, thank you for coming to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. This channel is pretty much for standers and those who are looking to restore their marriage. I pretty much give advice and testimonies and also share my journey of how I made it to where I am today with my husband, who I have here with me today, Stephen.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's good to see you again, and Happy New Year.
Yes. And he is here to help answer some questions that you all may have had. So we have a few questions that we're going to answer for you all. You ready to begin?
Let's get into it.
All right. So the first
Kind of nervous.
You nervous? Don't be. You're not new to this channel. So and they love you. They've been requesting for you. Okay. What forgiveness did we need to seek or offer to move forward without resentment?
What forgiveness did we need to seek and or offer? It's a good one. Definitely, I would say the number one thing would be infidelity.
Definitely.
The infidelity that
On both parts.
on both behalf. You
Yes.
know, you forgave me for my infidelity,
Yes.
and I'm gonna let you speak for yourself, and I forgave you for your infidelity. But also within that forgiveness, it was forgiveness within myself. I had to take accountability for the actions in which I may have caused that may have led you down that direction, even though we all make our own decisions. But I had to forgive myself. I had to take accountability for the actions in which I caused. And I had to get over that piece. So, yeah, so I would definitely say infidelity, and then I had to take accountability within myself. And when I was able to take accountability within myself, I can sort of see the situation from a different perspective. And it helped me get through a lot in terms of healing, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, I think that's another question that's coming up. But for me, infidelity and accountability within myself.
Yes, I would have to piggyback off of you. I would say the same for me, but I knew also that I wanted my husband, and I know that you are a good person, and that you gave me that security that I needed. Like you never lacked that. You still showed that you were the provider that you are. You was still loving and caring, and it's like so I had to look beyond the actions that you took and look at who you really were and who you really are. And that kind of helped me to forgive because I knew like okay, his actions, like what would God do? He would forgive. He forgives us. So who am I to not forgive you for your actions, looking past everything else that you offer? And I would also say that it's not an easy journey. It did not happen overnight.
Definitely didn't.
No, and it did not happen just like within, I would say, a year. It took some time.
Yes.
So with that, when you said about healing, sometimes for us healing, it may take years. Like you may forgive the person, but you don't forget. And we should be able to at least put it behind us, because there are times when we still brought up incidents to each other, and it's like, okay, hold on, you didn't forgive me then, because you're still bringing up what I did. So it takes a lot of healing, and the healing process is it's a journey.
It definitely is. And to add on to that, I just thought about something else that while you was talking, the deception part. I had to forgive the deception part, because going out there and cheating on your spouse is absolutely horrible, you know. But then there's the loyalty factor. We all get married with the pretext and with the notion that this person is going to be loyal to me. And when we go out there and we do our dirt and we start cheating, and individuals find out, like you found out what I was doing, I found out what you was doing. When we would question each other on it, we was lying to each other, and
Yes.
we was being real deceptive on that. And sometimes I know for me, I had to forgive that piece, because the deception that was the part that kept playing over and over. Well, how did she lie to me? And then you start going down this rabbit hole. You start thinking, well, this is what she told me, but this is what she really was doing. And then there are other moments that may come up that may trigger those things. You know, I remember this scenario, and this is just random. You may say, I remember when we was here, she was doing XYZ, but she told me she was doing XYZ. And later on in life, if you ever revisit that place where you may have been, that may trigger you to remember, hey, listen, remember she lied to you when this happened. So that's another thing that I had to forgive that was very, very big. It was the deception piece. But I want to say this, that happens on both ends.
Yes.
That happens on both ends because for some reason we think that when other individuals lie to us, we think that that stings more than when we lie to the other individual. I can hold you accountable and I can say, well, that really did hurt me, but we're not really factoring in when we lie to the other person, how much that really hurt them. Because sometimes as men, we may think that we can say, oh, well, I'm sorry, and that all should be forgiven. When females are very, very emotional. And so it carries over. You may play scenarios within your mind. It just may play over and over and over. And so that deception piece is very, very, very important. So I would definitely say the infidelity was one.
Definitely.
And then healing, you have to be able to heal after you forgive, because once you forgive, that's when the real work starts.
Yes, definitely.
The real work starts, because when you forgive, like you said, you forgive for the reasons and why you want to be with that person. I knew you was a provider. I knew that you was a great mom. I knew that even though all of the things that I came up with in my head to go out there and use as an excuse to do these things against you for my own selfish reasons, I knew that those things were a lie. Once I started to forgive and be hold myself accountable for the things in which I was doing. So definitely infidelity.
Yes.
Healing.
Yes.
And then definitely the deception piece, because the enemy would definitely use that.
Oh, the enemy will attack you.
He will use that deception for years and years, way after you probably forgave them for the act.
Yes.
It's the deception. Yeah, well, I don't really necessarily believe you, because I've done this to you certain times.
Yes.
Like certain times we would be in a real good space. We would be in a very, very good space, but for whatever reason, maybe I'm not in my Bible. Maybe I just have low energy that day, and the enemy just wants me to attack and start. It wouldn't necessarily bring up the action of you cheating, but the deception piece. Well, I can't really believe you because you used that when you was going out there and doing X, Y, Z. It would be that deception piece. And that's when the trust
plays into piece as
well.
well.
There we go.
The trust is hard for you to be able to trust because of the deception, and you're like, well, I don't know if I can move forward. Like you struggle with that to this day sometimes. Like, well, because of this, I can't trust you, or you still think like, okay, well, she's up to something, or she's doing something.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not. But you're like, I don't know, I can't trust you, I can't believe you. But excuse me, that all play into, like you said, it started with the deception and the healing piece, because it's still like, well, you're still going through the journey.
Yes.
You're still going through the journey. It's not easy to just be like, okay, I forgave, I let it go. Like, you're still healing. We're human.
Right.
So it's still a process, still a journey.
Right. And underneath it all, it's going to come down to, for us, it's definitely going to come down to a spiritual base. You're definitely going to need spirituality, whatever you may choose, and whatever may be your modality of spiritual and faith. Whatever system you may believe in, you're going to have to tap into that, because it's not something that you're going to be able to conquer on your own.
No.
Because the enemy knows that once you forgive someone, or once you take that step towards forgiveness, okay, well, I can't necessarily get them with this piece anymore. I need to figure something else. What else is a weak point, not only within the couple aspect of it, but within themselves individually.
Yes.
Oh, he has trust issues. He has trust issues maybe from way back when. And this person did X, Y, Z, and now was triggering up and bringing back up those trust issues. And so now they may use that piece to definitely go back in there and try to pull you apart, because at the end of the day, the goal for the enemy is to separate you and keep you separated.
Yes.
So, so that's a great question, whoever asked that. I hope you were able to answer that.
Yes. So, all right, honey, you ready for question number 2?
Whew. I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. So question number 2 is, what emotional needs do you feel are important for a spouse to meet?
What emotional need?
I would say,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
that's okay. I would say for me, I need security. So for me, I need to know that you are being sensitive to my needs, or if I come to you about something, because I'm a sensitive person at times. I can flip it if necessary, but I am sensitive at times.
I have to fix that. You're looking crazy in the
Thank you.
camera.
Yes,
Crazy,
the
crazy.
wind. We are out in the park.
Okay.
And just before we get started, we are in the park because we do have our walk and talk in the park moments. That is something that we have incorporated within the last year or so. So we come to the park. So we decided today, since we're in the park, we're talking, why not just go ahead and address, our community? So
Right.
that's what we're doing. So that's why you see us in the park, and that's why my hair is blowing all over the place, because it's a little windy, but it's beautiful out.
And we also wanted it to be as natural as possible. We know everything with social media nowadays. It's people do things for views and clicks, but we didn't want to have a high production. We didn't really want to have the bells and the whistles, but we wanted to be able to really genuinely help you all with the questions that you're asking, because this is something that we were able to get through. It didn't seem possible at the time.
No.
Like my wife said, it took years. And this is something that we do have authority in. And so if we can help you, then I want to be as genuine and as authentic as possible. And I said, nothing better than while we out there, let's just turn on the camera.
Yes.
And let's just press record and answer some of these questions from the heart.
Yes.
And hopefully it'll touch someone out their heart and help them
Yes.
within their situation.
Yes.
So sorry to cut you off.
That's okay. We got a little distracted, but it's okay. We just had to give a little context to what we were doing. But in going back to me being sensitive at times, I feel like I need that security to know that you are able to flip it when need be. Like if I come to you about something, I'm getting a little emotional, I'm getting a little sad about something, which you are pretty good with. Like, hon, what's wrong? Let's talk about it. Like every day, I appreciate you asking me, how was work? How was your day? What's going on? What happened today? Like, I really appreciate that, because that shows that you really care, and it's not like you're not just asking just to ask. You're really asking because you really do care, and you give me advice every time, and I really appreciate it. So for
You sure?
me, yeah. Well,
because some of the
yeah, sometimes
it be heavy sometimes.
Sometimes it be heavy, but in the end, I do appreciate it, because I understand you're only looking for the best of my interests, and I do appreciate that, because that goes to being that that security blanket that I need. So I think that helps a lot with me being emotional, because there are some times where I just be like, I want to scream, and you're like, all right, let's talk about it. Like, okay, this is what you can do going forward. When you go in tomorrow, this is how you should, react. This is how you do. Calm down. It's okay. So you kind of give me that security, and I appreciate that for that emotional piece.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Why we had to press record in order for me to hear that.
Wow.
Okay, sidebar. But no, but I agree with what you said. And I want to say, definitely for men, there are certain emotional needs that maybe every man needs. There's certain emotional needs that every female needs. For the man, they want to feel appreciated. We want to feel valued. We want to feel those things. We want to feel like we're the provider. So those are things that's just in general within men. But then each and every single last one of us, because of our personality, because of how we grew up, because of some of the things that we've been through or have gone through or trying to heal through or overcame by healing, we may need individual emotional needs. And that part is going to come when you know your spouse and know your audience. For men, definitely one of the emotional things I would say is that we want to be able to feel that same thing, security. Security doesn't necessarily mean the same security that you may feel in terms of making sure that we are providing and stuff. But security may mean, hey, listen, this is something that really bothers me. And I might have been dealing with this from a childhood, and I'm over it, but I just want to make sure that I feel comfortable talking to you, and that you're not going to throw it back up inside my face if it ever should come up later on. And you know that this is something that either I'm struggling with, or you know that this is something that I'm working on, or you know that this is something that I'm trying to do, and that I can come to you and feel comfortable and talk to you about these things without it being brought back up inside used against me as a weapon. You don't weaponize it.
It's like a safe
So,
space.
right, it's a safe space. So for a man, we definitely need that. It's not necessarily spoken of as much because men, we want to, we have this macho presence sometimes. We wear a lot of masks. I'm pretty sure that the individuals who are watching this who may be men, regardless of how secure you may feel within yourself, there's probably, it could be a thin mask, but there's definitely maybe a mask that may be worn within your life right now that you want to unveil and just come out and say, this is who I am, or this is how I speak, or this is how I operate, or this is. So not getting too far off of it, when it comes to the spouse aspect of it, I want to feel comfortable coming to you. I want to feel secure knowing that I can come to you and that I can talk about these things, that I can reveal these things, that I can testify about these things, that I can bring up, and that I can expose these things to you and not have it thrown back at me. And then that's definitely one of the things that, besides from the regular, like I said, general emotional needs that a man may need.
Oh, I appreciate your transparency. That's big. That takes a lot. Well, thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I do it for the culture.
All right. Okay. Well, speaking of that, then the next and last question that we have so far, if you always have questions, you know to email me, or you can put it in the comment section, and we'll get them together and come out. But the last one that we have is, how can we improve our communication, ensure we're both feeling heard and understood? That's a good one.
You want me to start this one off?
Yes, you can start it.
How we can improve our communication as a couple, as a marriage. Well, I want to start by saying that how you improve anything within your marriage is going to first start with how you are able to improve that within yourself. If I am an understanding person, if I am a patient person within myself, then I can bring that to the relationship. I hope that this one, let me just pause because I'm just going to doing this. Yeah. We want to make sure y'all getting this information.
It's calming down.
But to improve communication, yes, how make sure that you are working on some of these things within yourself. If you are the type of person, say for instance, for myself, I grew up and the way that I was raised, the dynamic of communication was very, very strong. It was very quick and patient. And so I noticed that as I was growing up, I brought that to the marriage. I brought that to the way that I was raising my kids. I wanted to fix these things because I wanted to build on the relationship with me and my kids, as well as me and my wife, after, I come to the resolution that what I was doing was wrong. But you can't work on those things if you don't work on those things within yourself. If you don't first acknowledge those things within yourself. And so you also have to be cognizant of how the other person is receiving it. Because I can give advice with the best intentions. But because of my background, because of how I was raised, because of how I was used to being talked to, that might transcend, and I might think that those things are the norm for me, and might think within myself, well, why can't you accept that? Because I accepted that. Why can't you learn from the way that I'm talking to you? Because I learned from that. We have to think back to how we felt when we were being talked to that way.
That's a good one.
But that's only going to be able to have that, like I said, working on yourself.
Reflection.
That reflection on yourself. Thank you. That reflection within yourself. So how you improve and how you do anything, how you work on your marriage, how you work on the standing, how you work on anything as a couple, how you work on the couple aspect of it from not being hurt to healing, is you have to do it individually. Work on that individually, whether it's therapy, whether it's spiritually, or whatever your modality might be.
Yes.
And so that would be my take on
Yes,
that.
and I agree with that. And I would also say too, with communication, it's also in the matter of how you communicate and how you get through the scenario. Because, I think the more conversations you have with each other and how you're able to resolve it, whether it's, it escalates or it doesn't escalate, how do you end it? I give a prime example. Last night, we were talking, it was going well, and then it went a little left. It didn't get an escalation or anything, but it was just like we were not hearing each other. We were not understanding each other and understanding each other's points of views. But then at the end, I won't say that it was fully resolved, but, for me, I have a problem with accountability. And my husband calls me out on that a lot. And I take offense to that because sometimes I feel like, well, you're not hearing. I'm taking that as him not hearing me. And he's like, no, I hear you, but you're still not being accountable. You're not owning up to what it is you said or what you did or how you said it. And, it's taken some time for me, but I think I'm trying to improve in that area. So last night it was one of those where I wasn't taking accountability. It was like I wasn't really listening to him. I was more on the defense aspect of things, and it was frustrating him. So we did not get into an argument or anything like that, but it was just like a miscommunication. But in the end, we were able to kind of like resolve it.
Mm-hmm.
And then like by the end of the night, it was like, I love you, and great conversation. And normally if we would communicate, this was in the past, we would communicate, one of us would get mad, get upset, one would go to one room, one would go in another, then we may not speak for each other for like a day or two, and it's just like you feel the tension, and it's just like, we'd go out, leave out, like have a good day, that might be about it. We may give each other a kiss still, but then it was like you could just tell, like, all right, we're not talking to each other. So I think we are getting better with that, and I think the more that we communicate with each other, the more we're able to resolve things quicker and better. I think we have been getting better at that communication. So I would say in order to improve your communication, you just need to communicate more and see how you're able to resolve it, whether it's a good or bad. Like, don't go off on bad terms and just leave it at that and not talk to each other. Like, try to find a way to resolve it amicably and go from there.
Right. No, that's good. That's good, huh? That's good. But I definitely want to say this. It's a two-way mirror. In order for you to be able to hold someone accountable, you have to be able to receive when someone is trying to hold you accountable.
Yes.
It can't be one way, because we can't always use the argument when you try to hold someone accountable and then they bring up something that they're not able to hold you accountable for. Now, give or take, sometimes it's like, hey, listen, we're talking about this, we're not talking about that, but you're not going to always be able to use that as an excuse.
That's true.
You want to hold yourself accountable, and you want to work on anything and everything to make yourself better before you try to call somebody else out to make them better.
Right.
I want to say that again, because holding someone accountable, back in the days when I was doing my dirt, when I was just not a part of, when I was a part of the world, when I didn't really see the goodness in individuals, when I just was selfish, I could have been trying to hold someone accountable just to put them down. You see? But now when you hold people accountable, now when I hold my wife accountable, when she holds me accountable, I have to look from the aspect of it is you're not trying to put them down, you're really trying to help them. And you're trying to call out and let them know, hey, listen, I get it and I understand. But if you really want to move the needle on whatever it is we're talking about, this right here may be holding you back. Because not everyone is going to probably be able to tell that individual that.
True.
Communicate that with love. Communicate that without trying to hold someone back or hold them down. So definitely be able to receive it. But it comes back to, like I was saying before, you have to work on yourself.
Yes, definitely.
Work on yourself. I don't want to take over because this is my wife's show, but if you're standing, I think we've said it before in the previous video, and we could definitely say it again. You have to work on, I didn't get a chance to see my wife for who she was. until I started to work on things and things were exposed to me, not necessarily by her, but by God. When he opened up my eyes. And then I was able to see how terrible I was. When I was able to look at it and be like, dang, I was really that bad? Wow. All they pretty much did was throw it back at me what I was throwing at them. So if I look at them and say that, damn, that was bad, you did me like that, I was able to say, damn, I was bad. So I hope that works. I mean, I hope that helps.
Yeah.
Before you try to hold somebody accountable, hold yourself accountable.
Definitely.
What did Jesus say when they wanted to crucify that lady? He said, sure. When he was bending down, he said, yeah, I get it. I understand, paraphrase. He said, I get it. Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all throw the stone, but the person who has not sinned or who has not done anything, by all means, be the first person to throw the stone. Don't start throwing stones at somebody. Don't start holding somebody accountable if you have if you're not prepared, to receive that, or if you have, y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Okay.
And I appreciate that, hon. I appreciate you being very transparent throughout this whole video. Because, I know that's not easy. And, I know, like you said, this is pretty much my channel. But, for you to come on here and, be honest, that speaks a lot. And, I'm sure that everyone will appreciate that. Because, sometimes it's good to also hear from the male's perspective of it, because we do have a lot of men that watch it too, so you'll be able to hear from my part, and then the women are able to hear from you, so they can kind of go back and think, it helps them reflect and think like, okay, what can I do and I improve? And I would say a lot of times help in writing stuff down too, like reflecting, journaling, that will help a lot. Like think about like what were my thoughts today, how can I improve my way of thinking today? And sometimes that helps. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you all again. If you found some value, please like, subscribe, and leave comments below.
Yes, comments and questions.
Yes.
And we see you on the next one.
All right. Bye, guys.
Take care.